Alrighty. Hey, Cisa, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hold on, sorry, I had to turn something on. Hi, Randy.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I was
I'm
like not
great.
sure if it was okay for me to join because I'm such a beginner.
That's
Um,
the best reason to join.
I
Trust
know,
me.
right? Just join anyway. That's how you
That's what
learn.
you do. That is how you learn. So we are live on YouTube. You and there are two other participants that signed up. We'll see if they join, but we will
Oh,
just jump right in and get started. Basically,
okay.
and for all my new people, because we are on YouTube Live, She Trades webinar started at a, how would I say, um, as like a Sunday school, quote unquote, um, trading session when I first started the Traders Fair, right? Where um, we would meet up and we would analyze the charts together in preparation for the upcoming week of trading. And now I have now transitioned that into, trying to make it more accessible to everybody because it was wrapped up into my private community to get new traders like Arcisa. It's the whole point. So
Nice. Glad it's
glad,
working.
yes, so I'm glad that you are here for it and welcome everyone else. So, welcome, Tisa, again. And before we get started, I would like for you to introduce yourself, right? So, um, tell us like your name, where you are from, what, what because you're here for a reason. So, what asset class brought you here? Is it stocks? Is it futures? Is it cryptocurrency? Is it forex? Like, what brought you here? Based on what you're interested in, and then to keep it fun, what was your favorite childhood cartoon character?
Okay. So my name is Arcisa Jackson, and I am a business owner. I've owned a tattoo shop. Well, I owned a tattoo shop for 8 years, which is part of what got me into investing. And I'm here for Forex, cryptocurrency, and ETFs. My focus is probably going to be Forex, though.
Okay.
I'm really new. And when I say new, I mean I literally just started learning like more hands-on strategies for Forex this month.
Okay.
Um, yes. And my favorite cartoon character, that's I'm gonna go with the obvious and say Sailor Moon.
Feeling.
Since I literally have a Sailor Moon tattoo on my chest.
So my
And
favorite childhood character, it's not even like, of course, I love Sailor Moon growing up, but growing up,
mhm,
my favorite shows were actually Fantasia, Disney, and The Brave Little Toaster. And it
yeah.
wasn't until we got to high school that I fell in love with a character specifically, which is Dory from Finding Nemo. So,
Oh my God, that makes so much sense for you. You've always been a Disney Channel girly too, so I know that about you.
makes perfect sense, exactly.
It
So
makes sense.
Dory's just, quirky and always forgetting shit. And but she's actually really smart. So to say she's forgetful, she's actually really smart. So this is why I love her.
Yes.
Alrighty. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get started with my top-down analysis for future. So I do trade Forex, CISA, but Forex is more of my side hustle because it moves so slow in comparison to the stock market, right? In comparison to the S&P 500. Um, Forex is just, well, there's some fast movers in Forex, but for me, because I do trade multiple asset classes, to prioritize which asset class is going to take up most of my time and which other asset classes are kind of like side hustles. Okay. So
Mm,
when I started trading, I started with cryptocurrency, right? Then I transitioned into trading ETFs and stocks and options. Then I learned Forex, like later. That's the
okay.
order that I went into. All right. So to
All
start this call off, because a lot of fans do love the S&P 500. When it comes to the stock market, you don't have to trade much else. I mean, of course, people love Apple, people love Nvidia, certain tech stocks that are heavy. And people love certain ETFs like QQQ and SQQQ, and all those are great. But what
right.
I've come to realize and learn over the years is that the S&P 500 is all you really need to be profitable
Okay.
consistently. To be honest with you, give me 1 second.
Okay. So ETFs.
ETFs, S&P 500 ETFs specifically, um,
Mhm.
is there's a community of traders out here that only focus on either the S&P 500 futures or the S&P 500 index or the S&P 500 ETF, right? It all depends on how much
Okay.
capital you have to trade. So,
Yeah.
so the cool thing about the S&P 500 is you can trade it 3 ways. You can trade it with an ETF, which I recommend for my smaller accounts, right? It's a little bit more affordable. You can trade it
Okay.
as an index, which is the ticker is SPX. If you're trading the index, the ticker is SPY. If you're trading the ETF, and the ticker is ES. If you're trading the futures mini, and MES if you're trading the micro futures, okay? S&P
Wow.
500. Yes, you can do all of that,
Oh,
and that's just the S&P 500. There's nothing
I
else.
didn't know that. I was just like, I thought S&P 500 was literally just like, like just one thing, and it was just like the
Mm.
basket, like the different shares. I didn't know there was like micros. Well, okay. I heard the term, but I still don't understand it. Like one of my mentors mentioned micros, and I was just like, oh my God, there's so much to know about this.
There's a lot to learn about there's a lot to learn, a whole lot to learn. So let me start by sharing my screen. And what we do is a top-down analysis, all right? So if you have a mentor, some of these terms should be familiar to you, even if you are focusing on Forex, because the candlesticks are the same. And this is why I love trading different asset classes, because I do trade with the Japanese candlesticks, okay?
Okay.
I do not trade with these bars and all these other ways. If you look at my chart, then you could create you could do candles, you could do hollow candles, you could do a line chart, which is no, ain't
Mhm.
nobody got time for that. You could do where are the little bars at right here? A lot of Forex traders I found trade with these bars. I can't read these bars, Souza. For everybody out there in the universe watching this as well, I don't do bars. I don't understand these bars. I have not been
Mhm.
mentored on bars. Um, and
Okay.
I am 100% self-taught. So when I was learning, I stumbled upon candlesticks, right? And
Mhm.
candlesticks come from a history of when you read, there's book called The Japanese Candlestick Bible. Yes, the Japanese are responsible for the candlesticks. Okay.
Really?
Yes.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense actually, because I remember seeing names like Bodhi, and I was like, that sounds Japanese. Like,
Yes. Harami.
oh,
Harami. Harami is a candlestick pattern. Harami means pregnant, right? So it's
oh my
literally a
God.
candlestick
Okay.
pattern that looks like, and
Hmm.
I can find them on the chart. And we'll talk about them. Um, that literally look because I think Spy has a good one from the weekly analysis. Let me see. Yes, because we'll get to it. So actually, we'll start with SPY as a specific segment into the candlesticks. We do a top. So SPY, like I said, is the ETF, and what we're looking at right now from the weekly perspective, I prioritize weekly, daily, 2 hour and 15 minutes, because I'm usually day trading, meaning that I'm not holding my trades overnight. I
Hmm.
only hold it overnight when it's worth it. I say that because overnight trading comes with, especially for options, I am a big options trader um,
Hmm.
for leverage purposes. And when it comes to trading options, options has a lot of little fees attached to them in hidden areas that you have. And one of those
Okay.
I call it overnight fee. That's what Randy, aka the Mama Bear Trader, has named an overnight fee. The technical term is called theta. Theta is a Greek that affects your options contracts per day, meaning that it depreciates the value of your contract per day. Okay. And when you hold that contract overnight, you will get charged that theta for holding that contract overnight because it is accumulated per day, right? So that's why I call it overnight fee because if you have to hold that contract overnight, you will pay the theta for holding it overnight. And if
Okay.
I believe that the contract, and then you're going to pay it no matter what. So if the stock moves up, you're going to pay it. If the stock moves down against you, you're going to pay it. If the stock doesn't move at all, you're going to pay it. So if
Really?
I don't believe that the market is going to move in my favor
Oh,
overnight to help cover that overnight fee, I'm not going to hold my trade overnight because now I'm
okay.
just paying money for no reason. Make
That makes
sense?
sense. Hmm.
So, not going to do that. So, what we're going to do, for the most part, if we're going to hold multiple days, we want to ensure that the market is moving in a trend like fashion. So, therefore, every day that we hold it, it is moving or appreciating in value so we can cover the cost of that overnight fee or theta. All right. And in
That makes
this case, right now we're kind of waiting on market to do its next big move. And we had a pretty big downward pull last week, and each candlestick in this particular situation is a week worth of trading. So when you look at each time frame, you're looking at it from so like a weekly time frame means that each candlestick is a week's worth of trading. When you go to the
okay.
daily, how the chart changes a bit, each candle is the movement of that day. The 2 hour, each candle is a 2 hours worth of movement 15 minutes, and so on and so forth, right? You can go all the way down to the seconds, which I do not recommend because that's just, there's
Is
a whole
this
class trick. Hmm?
trade locker that you're using
I am
or
using Trading View. Okay, I'm glad you
trade
asked that
view?
question. Trading View. Trading View is free, but it is my most user-friendly charting tool. There are other, whatever broker you use will give you a chart to
Hmm.
for free so you can do what you need to do with it with live data and all of that for free. The problem
Okay.
with the others, so let me just get a second. I'm gonna log into Thinkorswim um, to
Now
show
that's what I
you.
am
Yeah,
trading
Thinkers.
on.
I'm trading with Charles Schwab. I use Thinkorswim, right? I just hate how many clicks that it takes me to navigate my charts, right? It's the clicking and the dragging drives me nuts. It's not as user friendly to me
Okay.
Thinkorswim. A lot of people do use it once if you practice with it for hours at a time, it becomes a lot easier to use.
Mhm.
The female traders that I feel you tend to gravitate to using it are my engineer nerd females. Like
Okay.
my real techie girls are the ones that like, I love Thinkorswim and the chart and they get all, like it's our science nerd kicks in and they go all in on it.
Mhm.
I love it for them.
Not
But
overwhelming for them.
it's not as overwhelming for them. Now I am, me, Cisa, I'm very much a science nerd and I still don't like it. Me
That says a lot.
personally.
That
Okay.
definitely says a lot.
Because I can easily, like here with TradingView, I can easily click and drag without too much fuss. I can use my scroller
Mhm.
tool to like stretch the chart easily. I can use the 2 finger, 3 finger, all your little shortcuts with the mouse, right? Are really user friendly when it comes to TradingView. So this is why I like it.
Okay.
So it's free, but it does cost you it's free to just look at charts, but it does cost you if you want live data on the charts. A subscription, I it pays for itself for me because I am a full-time trader. So I average roughly,
Hey,
I would
Miss
say
Payne.
300, I would say $300 a year. Yeah, mom is always in support, right? You gotta love moms.
Mhm.
Um, but there's what am I trying to say? Um, Trading View roughly because I want live futures data, I want also live stock data. So that kind of adds up. But for a basic plan to give me the data that I need, um, is about $300 per year. So knowing that one day of trading could usually yield me that, it pays for
Mhm.
itself. You know what I mean? It pays
Yeah,
it's not that much
definitely.
money when you're speaking annually. $300 a year is
Yeah,
not that bad.
one-time payment.
Correct. So that's what it
Mhm.
does look like. But and there's plans that can go upwards of that, of course. But I think that's good for what you like need. All right. So moving from there, and you can even get away with it without paying for it, to be honest with you, because you don't need it. It's really just to have like additional alerts and things like that. But what we're
Mhm.
looking at here is we're looking at how SPY has run up, right? And I like to take a bird's eye view and look at how the candlestick patterns are forming because they tell a story. If you look at candlesticks like telling a story, then it makes a lot more sense. So the story right now is so I also like customize my chart with TradingView. As you see, my candlestick colors represent my favorite color and my daughter's favorite color. So blue is
Oh,
bullish going up, the blue is me, and it's actually looks red, but it's actually a pinkish color, to be honest with you, because
mhm.
Jay's favorite color is pink. So we're pink and blue all day, right?
Yeah.
so, so that's me. So basically the blue candles are going to be my bullish candles, which would be green most likely on your chart if you're following along, and then red
Mhm.
going down, right? I wouldn't pay attention too much to the colors. We want to pay attention to the patterns more than the colors, right?
Okay.
Because the colors don't really mean too much. They can actually confuse you, which is why I grayed out the middle of my candles and only put the border colors on just so I can have an idea. But I don't, I've seen some traders that they literally make all their candlesticks black. So they don't be interfered by any colors whatsoever because a color can literally trigger your mind um,
Mhm.
to take a trade in the wrong direction because you're focused so much on the colors and you're missing the overall shape pattern. So if
Oh,
we want to do a top-down analysis to focus on shapes, moving um, to identify the key shapes needed to understand the trend, right? So in this case, from the weekly, we're looking at this nice harami, right? I like to identify those candle names to get you familiar. So a
okay.
harami means that we have a long body and then a smaller candle that formed right after that, usually pointing to the right. Because if it's pointing to the left, then it's considered an engulfing pattern where the big candle is like eating the previous candle behind it, which kind of looks like here. But the key in the harami candle is we need all parts of the smaller candle to be within the body. So if we look close, I can zoom in even closer here. Give me 1 second. If you look really close, this is a pretty large doji. So a doji is a candle that has more wick than body, more wick than body, right? That's a
Okay.
doji, meaning that price is kind of not doesn't know which way it wants to go. Buyers or sellers are in a fight when you see a doji. Yeah, are the sellers trying to bring price down or are the buyers trying to bring price up? That's what's happening, and this is what's reflected in the picture. Like here,
Mm.
which way are we going? Are we going up or are we going down? We don't know. So it literally
Oh.
looks like a I don't know emoji. It sits there. I call the doji the I don't know emoji. It literally looks like the I don't know emoji. You're like,
Okay.
which way are you going? Right? It has
Okay.
both hands up, like, I don't know. So
So the reason why you're saying that you kind of like we can't tell whether it's like the sellers or the buyers are in control is because the wicks are of equal length on both sides?
pretty much, pretty much.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
sometimes these dojis can form with a long wick on one side and a shorter wick on the other side, like here, right? This is kind of the doji, but this one is more of um, hammer doji, where we have a
Hmm.
long bottom, right? And
Hmm.
a smaller top, but not a super skinny one. A super skinny top would be more they have different names for them.
Hmm.
A dragonfly doji is one that has a little body and very long width at the bottom, and then a gravestone doji is one that has a really long wick at the top. So here's one. Here's a dragonfly doji, right? It's still I don't know because it's so small in the body. Nobody fully has control. So here's a dragonfly doji, and then here's a gravestone doji because it's pushing more downward, right? And you have a long wick left at the top, right? And then one that's more equal, we call that a long leg doji, where it's like all parts are equal. The body is equal to the wicks on both sides are kind of equal. So we call that a long leg one, right? And so that's your conclusion of what you just made of like we don't really know who's in control That's basically what that's saying. No matter what style it comes in, you're still not sure who fully has control. You can tell who may want control next, right? So say like this fast one down here, we can maybe tell that the buyers may want next because it rejected so badly from the bottom here, right? Um, that price was kind of pushing up, but we see that that wasn't true. We need confirmation by the next candle. So even though this doji doesn't give us a lot of information, because we see the next week price came in here and fell. So that's where we hear the term we need to wait for confirmation. That's waiting for the next candle to form to know which way the trend is actually going, right? So this is why we need multiple time frames, because if you wait a whole week, you can sometimes miss things. So in this case, we know that this doji, the wicks are in the body. It doesn't extend outside of the body of this candle, this long red candle we have
Okay.
right here,
I
right? It
see.
doesn't extend outside. So because
Is
it
that
doesn't
the
extend outside,
harami,
that's the
right?
harami. It's
Okay.
inside, it's inside your belly, right? Like if you're pregnant, we don't have no legs or arms sticking out. Okay. So it has to be within for it to be a harami. Now,
So the
once it's a
wicks have to be within the body to be a
within,
harami.
correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. Now,
Okay.
what price can do from here is you can have bullish and bearish harami. So we need the next candle to confirm which direction the harami wants to go, right? So this
Mhm.
week we're waiting to see is price gonna run up or is price gonna come down, right? Now a way to know that is we're gonna start adding things together. So this is where the analysis comes in. So from we notice the top, we notice how price is kind of like not pushing further up, it's kind of stalled. So now we
Mhm.
want to look to see what larger pattern are we getting kind of like what we call a head and shoulders. And it literally, the way I remember it is like the song when we were kids. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Head and
Mhm.
shoulders, I can find an old one for you, will literally be a pattern that's gonna come down and continue going down. And the weekly is kind of hard because it's a larger time frame. Price likes to go up overall. But if I come down to the daily, there's tons of them for that. Like, yeah. It's choppy to see. You gotta kind of cock your head to the side and squint one eye sometimes, but this is a perfect one here. So if you see right here how price was kind of choppy, it kind of went sideways, then it went up, made kind of
Mhm.
like a rounded top, then came down and made another choppy shoulder and then fell,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Head, shoulders, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
head, shoulders, and then we're waiting on that confirmation. Boom, knees and toes went straight down. The
Mm.
bearish pattern. So when we're
Okay.
looking at these patterns from a bird's eye view, we want to take a note to like, is this potentially a head and shoulder forming? You see the top kind of rounding. Are we going to
Mm.
start to come and get another shoulder down here? That's how I'm looking at this, right?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
these green squares that I have here, now they do not show up on a regular chart, okay? These
Oh.
are also formed by candlesticks. It's a hidden candlestick pattern, right? It's
Mm.
called FVG because it's called the fair value gap. Write that down, fair value gap, all right? What fair value gaps do is they kind of show hidden pockets of where money orders are sitting on the chart for you, right on the chart. You ain't got to go nowhere else. You can see it on the chart. And they're formed by basically what takes place in here on this fair value gap is that price was consolidating here. Like consolidating meaning that the candles didn't move too much up or down. It kind of just stayed tight. And
Okay.
then we broke up and got a long candle. And then the
Mm.
third candle, doesn't matter if it's long, short, or whichever direction it's going. The thing you want to look out for is the space between the wick of the candle before the long candle and the wick after. That space is what created this green block. If you can see, the block is at the bottom of that basically at the top of this little red wick and then at the bottom of this blue wicks. Because these wicks didn't overlap each other across the long candle, it creates what we call a fair value gap. and they can be small, like you see here, happened again. The wicks did not touch. Where the wicks did cross each other, there's no fair value gap, aka meaning there's no liquidity or no order, money order sitting in that area, right?
So when there's
So
no fair value gap, there's no liquidity
there can be limited
or
liquidity, I
very
should say.
little.
Limited, little to no, right? Because you gotta remember I'm on the weekly time frame. So as soon as we come down to the daily time frame, fair value gaps can pop up, okay, within
Okay.
each time frame. All right. So in this case, we see that we have fair value gaps that have not been tested. If you note right here at the top, we had a small fair value gap that was formed back here in September, right? You can see the dates when I go across the candles. This was Tuesday. Um, this is the September 2nd week, right? And then
I'm
this
honest with
is,
you. I think I need you to like explain to me fair value gap again. Because I know you
yeah,
said like it forms where the wicks don't touch, but I'm not quite grasping it.
I get it. And a lot of people don't. So you're going to have to
Okay.
probably read a little bit outside of this
Okay.
call.
That's
Um,
fine. I can do that.
Yeah,
I'll do
to
some
get it
internal.
clear. But basically it's when we're coming to candlestick patterns, because what I want in this call, I want to focus on it like a candlestick pattern and not
Okay.
all the background that's into it, because the basics that you want to understand is that what when you see one, price is gonna come back and revisit it usually to test and grab, I would say grab, like if prices, the overall notion is price action always goes up, at least for the stock market, right? The stock market is always growing. Since the 80s, it's always been going up. Even though we've had pullbacks, it always grows upward. So
Mhm.
when it's growing upward, in order for it to do so, it has to make these pullbacks down to grab, in a sense, if you want to look at it as grabbing buyers to continue up. So come back down the elevator, pick up buyers, they can come back up, and then it comes back up, it hits a bunch of sellers, and then it comes back down again, right? And I kind
And
of
is
look at
that
it
why
as
you
this.
mentioned the Head and Shoulders,
I mentioned the head
right?
and shoulders because it's the actual name of the pattern based on the candlesticks.
Okay, because it kind of sounds like what you're describing sounds like a Head and Shoulders pattern, right? Because you said it like comes up and then comes back down.
No, that's just the way it
Or
moves. Like, look, envision when you're looking at the chart from like this perspective, we're gonna look
Mhm.
at it like a snake. It went up, right? It came down to eat up the areas of liquidity, then came up, comes back down, eats up liquidity, comes
Mhm.
back up, down to eat liquidity. And every time that it's coming down, it's usually testing the top of a fair value gap, right? It usually coming back down, tests a fair value gap, and comes up, as you can see here. Fair value gaps form. This candle touched the top of it and then started to come back up. Formed another one. And it usually these fair value gaps form levels of support, if you've heard support and resistance before, and it can prevent price from falling too far down. So what
Okay.
you want to do is make note of them, because you never know, like say, the politicians do something crazy. That's all it
Mm-hmm.
really takes. And the market will fly down and come back. So for right now, you're looking like, well, Randy, it doesn't look like it's trying to come back to these areas of liquidity until it does way later. You don't know when it may have that significant pullback, right? But note that they're there, right? And the smaller ones usually can get tapped out sooner than later. So from here, we're looking at this fair value gap's already been tested twice. Price came back down and revisited last week, and then it came the week before last, and then even during last week, it came and touched it again. And then we want to see if it wants to either now break through it to come down and test these larger ones, or is it going
Mm-hmm.
to hold support here and come up? That's what we want to know, right? And that's what we're looking for. And we want to see if it's going to form a head and shoulders pattern, right? To be able to come down to this larger fair value gap that's sitting down here that has not been tested yet. Okay.
Okay.
So that's how we're looking at from this weekly perspective. Now we're gonna come down to the daily perspective, and because now we came down to the daily, we see that there are some fair value gaps that are within that area that were not visible on the weekly. All these candles here, you can't see it until you drop down the time frame. So now we're
Mm-hmm.
down here in the daily, and we see, okay, well, now we kind of see more of a head and shoulders forming. Here's a shoulder, Here's like the
Mm,
head, and it's coming back down because
mm,
again, we have areas of liquidity.
mhm.
Alarm clock. Areas of liquidity down here that have yet to be fully tested and filled, especially right here. We touch down on top of the top of it. But what we also want to notice is physical gaps. So we have fair value gap. That's one word you wrote down. Now the other word you're
Mhm.
going to write down is Globex gaps. Globex gaps form usually overnight due to futures or even potential forex trading. The overnight movement will create physical gaps on your stocks or your ETFs by the time they open in the morning. That's what happened right back here. That's what happened right here. These spaces, these physical spaces on the chart. These are also areas of liquidity or where orders will be or where price will be attracted to come to. That I like to say these are like magnets is the key word that I want to put them to. I have all these fancier words like fair value gaps and liquidity, but
You say glowbacks?
Globex, Globex, Globex
Glowbacks.
gaps. Mhm.
Okay.
That's another word you're going to research, especially because you want forex trading.
Hmm.
And you'll be able to understand what's happening in the background when it
Okay.
comes to that. But basically, in this case, when it comes to your active trading, you're understanding all these Globex gaps or fair value gaps to understand what's a magnet for price action. And these are what we call magnets. It's going to attract price to come back down to these areas. Um, and as you can see, we can create fair value gaps at the top when price comes down, and price will come back up and test through the liquidity at the top. And this is perfect because you see one right here with my red box that it's an indicator that's on TradingView that you can use to help highlight the fair value gaps, or you can physically go in and use like the lines. There's
Why is your FVG red at the top?
it's a resistance fair value gap. You have resistance ones and support ones.
Okay.
They form on the top and the bottom because the same rule applied. Look, we have a long candle, right? We have a long candle and the wicks don't touch. It doesn't matter if price is going up or down, they get created as long as wicks aren't overlapping the middle candle.
Oh, okay.
And if it happens on the top side, then it's resistance. Price will try to come up through here and maybe not make it higher up because this area of liquidity is going to form a level of resistance where price can't push up anymore. And when I usually see price in between two fair value gaps like this, like we price fell to create this second fair value gap. So now we were in between two fair value gaps. And typically every time we get in between two fair value gaps, price moves sideways because can't figure out to go up or down
Mm, okay.
because it's stuck in between the two. Do I want to collect from the top first or do I want to collect from the bottom first? And it could become sticky spot to trade, which is why all last week I did not trade because as you see, it sat right here.
Mm,
So waiting on the next breakout. Oh, I did not mean that. Okay. So now what you can do to find these fair value gaps on your own if you do not have an indicator app, you can take your horizontal line. Pretty much every charting has a horizontal line that you can put at the bottom of a wick, right? I like
mhm,
to use dotted lines a lot. And then you can put another one at, the bottom of this wick and that wick, and then you also square off your fair value gap the same way. So I can turn the fair value gap indicator off, right? I can hide it, and I even see them better if I hide it, right? So you see how the wicks aren't touching, and I put lines instead. Oh, the wick isn't wick here. I have a fair value gap there. I can do this all day and just go through and be like, oh, the wicks didn't touch here and here. And I'll go in and I'll
mm,
put a line here and I'll put a line here, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, there was a small one right there. right? You don't have to have an indicator to see fair value gaps. You just have to look
Okay.
for where your candlestick wicks don't cross a middle candlestick. There was, and you can do this all day.
Hmm.
There's just been indicators been created over the years. These indicators are created in trading views from people who trading views like also a community of a lot of traders. So they can also come in here, tech nerds can come in here and design indicators for trading view. And that's what this fair value gap indicator is. A random other trader designed it and
Nice.
implemented it into trader. Yeah, exactly. It's cool.
Smart.
So you can do a lot of things like that with trading view. But that's basically what it is. And so all we're doing for this chart analysis is identifying fair value gaps and looking for chart patterns. So right now with this long candle, we had a harami, but we also added some candles in here. So we're just kind of stuck chopping sideways. We're looking to see if price is going to break out. And because we've already when I say pierce through, because you see how these wicks are through the other side of the fair value gap. So it's like it's been tested all the way through, meaning that the snake, you remember the old snake game in a Nokia phone? Think of it like that. We came up and ate all the food over here, and now we're going to probably come back down and look for food this way. So in
Okay.
order to do that, all of these areas are food. So we
Mm.
have area of support. I believe price will come down to close out and finish eating up the liquidity down here, which if we look over to the right to see what price that is, that means price may come down to about 650, right? If I put my crosshair line and see where that goes, we look out to the price bar over here and we see that's around
That's
650.
650 per share.
That's not 650 per, well, it is 650 per share if you buy the ETF by itself, right? So
Mm.
if you want to trade this ETF as a whole and by itself like a stock, it is $650 you have to spend to hold one share or one ETF share of SPY. Because I'm an options trader, I use leverage, which means I don't have to pay that much.
Mm.
I intentionally actually, my trading rule is do not spend more than $25. Yes, I said $25 per contract. And
Okay.
I may go up to $50, but I don't like to. I've seen a lot of $25 contracts when, like, case in point, when price was running down here. I think the contracts were starting to increase because they knew the drop was coming. So the cheapest contract at the time, I think I was able to grab it for like the contract I wanted for like $60. And because I got into it a little late, if I would have got into it a little earlier, I probably could have caught it around like the $30 range. And that's the
Mhm.
range I like to be in between 30 and 50. But this $60 contract, because it fell all the way down in here, and that's just for one contract. That
Okay.
by
When
the
you say
time price,
contract, does that
mhm,
have anything to do with the theta fee?
it does have everything to do with the
Yeah.
data fee.
Okay. So is this kind of like in crypto where you have to pay like a gas fee or something like that?
If you're trading options with crypto, then yes, I didn't trade options with crypto. I only
Well, I'm
traded.
just trying to understand what a contract is.
So options contracts are contracts derived from the underlying asset. You can get an options contract on anything. Basically what it means is I'm about to pull up my options
Okay.
for you. Um, no. Okay. So. Let's switch screens over. So let's go to okay, so come on. All right. So options chain, this is SPY. All right. I have SPY up here, ticker. Um, here are all my contracts. All right. So SPY has a lot more contracts than some other tickers that you will see. Why? Because SPY has daily contracts. Okay. You can literally trade it I don't trade. I don't picking your contracts. There's a science to it. Okay. So what I do, and it depends on how much capital you have. It depends on what type of trader you want to be, and everything else that comes into deciding what contract you choose to trade. Because you can trade the one that expires tomorrow versus you can trade the one that expires on Monday, or you can trade the one that expires 2 months from now. That depends on who you are. Some women.
Okay, I'm familiar with this a little bit.
Mhm.
And like there's a word for it when you're like a forex trader and you trade like long term instead of just like day trading. It's like that,
Some traders.
like scalping.
So scalping is a quick day trader strategy. Swing
Hmm.
trader
Swing
is
trading,
usually when
yeah,
you're holding overnight.
overnight, which is what you were
Mhm,
talking about earlier, right?
correct.
With the theta fees.
Right. So right here, so usually I trade when I'm day trading ETFs. I like to
Hmm.
trade, even if I'm day trading, even if I'm not holding it on that day, I don't like to trade the contract that's expiring that day because the contract that is expiring that day, it literally means it's expiring. So it's probably going to, by the end of the day, not be worth a lot of money. Sometimes. Emphasis on the sometimes is very it's very subjective to what the market is
Okay,
doing.
that
So
makes sense.
it, mhm. So this contract expires um later on Monday, right? And this will we will consider once the market opens, this contract will be considered a zero DTE contract, meaning that there's no days to expiry. Days to expiration is DTE, days
Okay.
to expiration. Zero DTE, 0 days to expiration, meaning that you're trading today's contract, right? Um, so what you would do is you would come in and you see the bid and the ask price. And right over here, a column that I like to keep up is the theta column. I like to know how much money I'm going to lose if I hold it that day. So as you can see, this Monday contract, well, the prices have to reset. When the market opens, they will reset. But
Mhm.
overall, this contract is going to lose. This is not $2.15. Okay. When it
No.
comes to the options world, the
Okay.
option because it's derived by the underlying asset. So that means everything is times 100 in options. So this is where the leverage comes in. This is why I'm saying only $25 to trade because when the market moves in my favor and the volatility creeps in, it's gonna grow exponentially. So like I told you, when price fell last week, that $60 contract closed upwards of it felt bad. I was at the
Mm,
660 contract. I think it closed because I got out before it got to max profit. Max
mm.
profit was like $1,600 because of
Wow.
how much it ran and kept running and didn't stop.
Mm, mm,
So like I made $40 contracts turn into $900 at $40 contract. And meaning when I say that, so this is what I'm talking about. Right here, this contract, if I buy in the money into shading, I would pay 400 if I want the strike price at 660, right? I would
mm,
pay 600. Yeah, I gotta multiply this time 100. So this would be
mm,
$632, right? A
mm.
lot of times what I do is I play out of the money, expecting price to go in the money. That's how I trade. So I will buy it out of the money because it costs less. So this is a $90 contract. This is $42. This is
Oh,
$17, right?
okay.
And I'm on the call side. If I buy a call, I want price to go up. If I buy a put,
Mhm.
I expect price down, right?
That's like shorting
So
it, right?
it's not shorting. It's
No.
buying in the opposite direction. Shorting is selling. Shorting is meaning that you're going to press, instead of the buy button, you're going to press the sell button. I do not
Oh.
sell contracts. Why? Because if you sell something you don't own, then somebody gonna come for you for their money.
How can you sell something you don't own?
Yeah, you can in the stock market. People do it
You
all the time.
can?
Yes, people do it all the time. People do it all
I
the time.
don't understand.
People do it all the time. People
I
do it
thought that's
all
something
the
you don't own.
time. They sell something they don't own, but if they don't make money off of it, that broker is going to ask for their money back. You better be right.
Oh, you're talking
You,
about leverage, right?
yes, you better
Okay.
be right. You better be
Okay.
right.
And that's called blowing your account when you
That's usually how people blow their account. They sell some
okay.
shit they don't own,
Hmm.
and then it doesn't go in their favor, and then now they have to owe the broker. And it's
Oh,
like, so I don't sell. I think selling is a strategy to me personally. I think you should sell once your account is in the millions and take that risk then.
okay. Yeah.
When you're growing your account, I don't think it's best to sell. Now, you can find some people that are going to disagree with me because they may have other strategies that they can leverage that differently. I just think it's not worth the risk. I'd rather be a buyer because I have control over that. And when I'm a buyer, I'm only going to lose what I put in. I don't have this
Okay.
exponential loss potential because I'm selling something I don't own.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
When I come in here, I'm gonna press the buy button and I'm gonna buy at I'm hovering over $42. All I'm gonna
Hmm.
lose is $42 unless I hold it
Okay.
overnight. If I buy a contract further out, then I can lose more than that potentially
Hmm.
because of like fees that are going to eat at the contract, regardless. So that's why I don't do that. I buy, and if I think price is going to go, so say in this case, this is a 670 price. If
Hmm.
I believe from looking at the chart that price is going to get up to $670, I would buy this contract before it gets there. By the time
Hmm.
it gets there, now it went from $63 to what's the price in the money? 272.
Oh,
That's the difference I
672.
get to walk away with. The difference
Mm-hmm.
between the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I
Okay.
trade out of the money with the speculation that price is going towards that strike price that I picked. That's how I trade options.
So
Works
you
out
trade.
fine.
You see, you trade out of the money.
Out of the money, going
Okay.
into the money, because it's cheaper, right? Trading in the money, you kind of secure profits. You can potentially secure profits a little faster, but you got to
Mhm.
risk a lot more on the line. And
Okay.
I don't like that. So what I would do, usually what I do if I'm trading, so this week, what I'm gonna do, this week, Friday's contract is the 24th. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to day trade in and out of the contract expiring on the 24th all week.
Okay.
No matter, that's how I do. I don't like the zero DTE contract. So when the market opens on Monday, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna look at the Friday contract and I'm gonna see how I can trade out of the money to a target. And prices are gonna be high at first because the more time you have on the contract, the more that contract's gonna cost. Just watch me work for a second.
Okay.
So this contract expires on Friday. You see right at the money, the at the money is where the in the money and the out the money reach each other. So this is the at the money, right?
I have
All
a
right.
question. Is this a
Mhm.
standard view on Trading View where the money is purple and then like out of the money is black, or is this
It's
just how
just
you have it set up?
No, this is going to be standard in every
Okay.
options chain. And the option chain is not, TradingView doesn't give you option chain. Your option chain is going to be given to you by your broker, whether that's Charles Schwab, Fidelity, E-Trade, um, whoever, Webull, Robinhood. I don't
Mm.
recommend Robinhood at all.
Okay.
I don't recommend that. But
Mm.
because I trade futures, forex, I trade everything with Charles Schwab. I don't
Mm.
go people like some of the other.
Yeah, I'm in my room. Hold on, my mom. I'm in my room. Why? Okay. Anyway.
No, you're fine. What I'm trying to say. There's other brokers out there like TraderVate and Gemini and a whole bunch of brokers that also link to TradingView, that are like Forex specific brokers that give you more leverage to trade Forex. Um, because for me, I prefer to trade in the leverage that is regulated. A lot of the other brokers are not as regulated as like Charles Schwab and Fidelity. Um, and that's how people blow their accounts with Forex. So I trade everything with Charles Schwab. Kind of gives me a
Mm.
little bit of protection. I know my money ain't gonna go nowhere. Plus, I know who I can sue, and I know Charles Schwab don't play that shit. Charles Schwab been around for a
Okay.
long time. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just certain
True.
securities That
Hmm.
makes me feel good when it comes to Charles Schwab. But
Yeah, that makes
but
sense.
in general, yes, every option chain is going to shade it for you to show the in the money versus the out of money. Like this is the in the money puts, and this is the in the money calls, and this is the out of money calls, and this is the out of money puts. And the thing about buying puts is, so if you, when market is going down, this is why I love options. When the market is going down, right? Like you first said, oh, well, that means you want to short it.
Yeah.
Well, but I don't want to sell anything I don't own. So the cool thing about options is you can buy in the direction of the market falling. So case in point,
Um,
when the market fell really bad, I didn't sell. I bought a put. I bought a put.
mm,
And you buy a put.
okay.
When you buy a put, your puts will increase in value as price drops. When you buy a call, the price increases in value when it goes up, right? So
Okay.
calls are up, puts are down, right? You
Okay.
pick up the call, you put down the
Perfect.
phone, like put, old school. You gotta go back in the 90s, right? When we had we actually used to pick up the phone.
I know, right? For real, we old girl.
I know. So like, but
Oh,
that's a metaphor to help you kind of remember which one's up and which one's down. And I
thank you.
just
I needed
buy
that.
whenever, no matter which way the market's moving, I'm just gonna buy in that direction. Oh, market's
Okay,
moving up, I'm gonna buy a call. Market's moving down, I'm gonna buy a put to make money. That's it.
that makes sense.
All right.
Okay.
So what I would do is I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna look at the volumes. I see theta. So what theta means is we're kind of getting off on a little bit options course here, but theta means this is how much money you're going to lose on a contract every day that you hold it. So if we think price is going to go up, so let's stick with the 670 um, strike price, right? For now, as an
Mhm.
example, we would pay
Okay.
$269 for this contract, right? For it to do its thing, whatever it's going to do. If we choose to hold it overnight, we're going to lose $60 because it says 60 on the theta.
Mm-hmm.
As the contract gets to the theta will increase, right? So, and I can just show you that right now from this view. So we're 4 days out, theta $60. We'll stay focused on the 670 contract, right? Let's go one day, let's bring it down a day. Let's look at Thursday expiration, the six the 670 contract, 670. It costs a little less because it's less days. But look, 68 theta, right? Come down again. 2 days out of the 21st. Down 670 contract, $78. So yeah, it's going to go the closer it gets to expiration date, because again, the point of expiration is for it to expire worthless. Expire worthless. This is why people sell things that they don't own, because they'll sell the contracts expecting for it to expire worthless, and that's how they win. That's how sellers win. All right. They sell things that are going to expire quickly. They want theta to be high, because if theta is high, then that means there's most likely not a buyer that's going to come and buy that contract, and they can sell it for profit, right? But so what you want to be mindful of that. So if it's like a Thursday and you're holding the Friday contract and you're going to risk holding it overnight, usually that theta is up in the hundreds. So that means you're going to pay like right here, you're going to pay $200 for the contract, but if you hold it overnight, you're going to lose $100.
That's
No,
not worth it. Yeah.
especially
Mm-hmm.
if price doesn't move. So that means you would have just
Yeah.
lost money. You would have lost no matter what. You would have
Yeah.
had a losing trade. Even didn't
Mhm.
matter.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
All
you
right.
want to be mindful of that. And theta is
It is
no joke.
important.
Theta is no joke. Theta is important when it
Okay.
comes to option contract. Now, delta, the other Greek on here, just to give you, when you're holding the position, delta is how much money you will make every time the underlying stock, whatever the stock it is, either SPY or the Apple, and it doesn't matter. Every time it moves $1, one full dollar, this is how much money you're gonna get. So if we paid So let's just say we picked this 670 contract, we paid 133. Every time SPY moves in the direction of our favor,
Mm.
right? One full dollar would get paid $28. It moves a second dollar, we get paid 28 plus another Greek called gamma. You can research gamma. I don't leave it on the chart. But
Okay.
you can put it up here, you can set this, you can go in here, and you can customize your columns, right? You can customize it, and you can add gamma, you can add all the Greeks on here,
Mm.
right? And I don't know, didn't say it. Um, mine gamma, not mistaken, it's gamma, and there we go. Okay, so gamma, what it means is you will pay the 133, right, to get into the trade. You
Mm-hmm.
will be potentially losing 78 if you hold it overnight. You will
Okay.
gain $28 every time that price actually moves up $1. And for
Mm-hmm.
every second and third dollar, you will add 4 cents or $4, because that's gamma, to that 28. So the second dollar, you will get 28 plus four. The third dollar, also this delta will move up as it goes closer to price. It's going to move up as well. It's going to get higher. It's going to change to 30 to 40 as it's increasing, plus the gamma. So this is why I don't spend no more $25. You gotta be down here, because
Oh.
when this adds up into it, it will get
Mm-hmm.
up there as price moves. So I don't need to risk all this money up here to make the money I need to make,
Okay.
because it will accumulate if price is moving in my favor,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
that's the important thing. It's your crash course in Greeks.
Thank you.
No
Good.
problem.
Definitely do my research on the Greeks.
Right.
Yes.
Um, so yeah. So there you go with that. I do have a course as well that goes into all of this. Um, Goes into the candlesticks more, goes into the option chain and
Mm-hmm.
understanding how all these values work. And then you have to come back and put it all together to make profitable trades, right? So we gotta understand the Greek so we can know what contract to pick. Because all of this is a contract to pick. You're gonna sit here and go, well, what strike should I use? So what I do, let's go back to the chart and we'll finish our analysis. Um, minimize. And charts. All right, let's get this through. So, so what I would do in this case, prices, I don't believe price is gonna get to 670. We already reached the 670 that was up here. If you look over to the right, you see it's 673. So right
Mm-hmm.
now we're floating at around 664. So let's do a real life situation. All right, and what I'm really looking for. So I believe price is gonna come down after
Mm-hmm.
seeing this pattern. I think we're gonna come down here. Do I think it's gonna happen immediately? I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for price to test the entry to this gap, like this physical gap that we have, this space right here. Price
Mm-hmm.
hasn't really hit that level. If I were to put a line right here, we haven't tested the opening of this gap. Not yet. We haven't touched that line. That's 652. So I take the 652, come back to the option chain, right? Go back. So we got 652 mark. We come back to the option chain, right? And we look at, let me go back to the contract that I would prefer to trade, which is on Friday, expires on Friday. It gives me time. The reason why I use a Friday contract, because if I say price starts running on Thursday, I mean price starts running on Tuesday and continues running in my favor on Wednesday. I
Mm-hmm.
want enough time to hold overnight if the opportunity presents itself, which is why
Oh.
I trade the end of the week. Because if price runs through the week, I want to be in the whole damn week. Shit, me, why get
Hmm.
out and be able to
Yeah,
hold the position the whole week? So I
that
would
makes sense.
rather pick exactly. So I pick the contract that expires at the end of the week to be able to be open for all
That makes.
possibilities during the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I don't need to hold it, so I'm gonna go in on Monday if the market looks right and I can make some money on Monday, I'll make money, make the money on Monday, right? Only
Mm-hmm.
if the market shows me that it's going to continue into
Up.
Tuesday in my favor, will I hold it? If it's not going to do that, I will not pay that overnight fee. I'm not going to risk that. I'm going to take my profits for the day and wait till
Mm.
tomorrow to see if tomorrow gives me another move, Tuesday, whatever, the next day gives me another move to be able to profit off, right? And then I'll
Mhm.
go Tuesday. I'll use the same contract. That's right. Because remember, each day that I go back in with that same contract, it also decreases in value because it's getting close to the expiration date. So Monday when I go in, the contract may be like higher, maybe like let's say the contract I'm looking at is like $50 or $60. I play it for at the $50, $60 rate, make my little money, fine. Then Tuesday, I get out of the trade because price isn't going anywhere overnight. So close my trade, take my money. Then Tuesday, when the market opens, now that same contract will now be worth a little less because of theta. So instead of being $50, if the market didn't move, now it's $30. So now I'm gonna go
Mhm.
back in with even less money and see what the market gonna do. You see what I'm saying? I'm never risking too much capital. Capital
Mhm.
management is the most important thing to ensuring that you
Okay,
can stay profitable in the market. You don't want to risk too much. So
that makes sense. My mentor told me I should only trade like 2% of what I already have in my account
I
as a
agree,
beginner. Okay.
agreed, agreed.
All right.
Agreed. That's a great number. I ain't gonna fix nothing with
Okay.
that. That's a great number. Stay with
Okay.
that.
He's been doing
Um,
it for like 17 years.
yeah, that you have a great mentor. That's great. No, because
I
what
got
you do
lucky.
is
Yeah.
as your account grows, you don't stop that 2%. You don't stop that. What you do
Mm,
is like, so say for instance, like this is why I do 20, I like my $20 contracts. Because I'll do most of the time I do one $20 contract. But as the account grows and
mm.
depending on as my account continues to grow, I don't stop paying the $20 contract. Now all I do is buy two $20 contracts to make more
Yeah,
money. You see what I'm
that
saying?
makes sense.
Now all I do is buy
Mhm.
five $20 contracts. I don't never go up to the $200 contract price. Don't do that.
Mm.
Stay at your
Mhm.
range. Just buy more of them as your
Yeah.
account grows.
Stick to the lakes and that you used to, the lakes and the
Okay,
rivers.
telling you just buy more. It's easier that way. So in this case,
That's
we're
what
back
friends.
looking at the option chain. What we marked 652 for price to come down. So I'm looking for a put. So
Okay, so
650,
the ones on the right are puts and the ones on the left are calls.
it says right here.
Okay, I see it. Okay, okay.
And all your option chains should be labeled that way so you won't confuse it. Um,
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
so mhm. So I'm on a put and we think price is gonna come down to about the 650 range. So I'm looking between 655 and 650. The line
Mm-hmm.
we the line that we marked on the chart was 652, right? So what I
Mm-hmm.
like to do is this is just a personal choice. I like to trade the whole numbers. I don't like to trade the 51s, 52s, 53s, 54. I like my five timetables. 5, 10, 50, 20. So I like the 650 to 655, the
Okay.
670, the 675. Right. I like my whole numbers. That's just me. I feel like they're have you heard the term psychological numbers when it comes to
No,
trading? Okay. So
I'll
when it
write
comes
that
to the
down.
chart, psychological numbers because it's like even in school, right? When we learn
Is
you
this like
round
in
up, you round.
marketing
It's like
and
it's
where people will buy something that is $29 as opposed to $30?
because it feels like a yes. It plays on
Yeah.
that same psychosis. So
Okay.
it's the same thing in the market where it's like even
Okay.
though we know it's technically $30, it technically is
Hmm.
$30, but it so in the market world, it's like those whole numbers are
That makes
kind of like that
sense. It
same principle. It's like that whole number matters more. Yes, 29.99 for selling purposes
is
intrigues the
more.
buyer to but overall it's $30. So right in
Mhm.
your mind, the $30 a whole month in the market moves in that same way. Like it seems like the candlesticks. prefer to hit the solid whole numbers more than the in between numbers, right? Like
Okay.
if I go back to the chart, I'll switch back to the chart, right? And we could just from a bird's eye view look like, yeah, the little wick came up to like 673, 74, 672. But overall, it's 670 is where price stayed at. If you think about it,
Mm,
it's like that's the
okay.
psychological range it stayed at. And then
Okay.
and
This
then
is
when
so cool.
it is very cool. I love it so much.
Wow.
And then
I'm
like
so
when it's
grateful
come,
you're sharing this information with
no
me. I
problem.
really am.
And
Like you
then
make
when
me
it
so
comes
easy to understand.
down, like look at the gap. Look at where our gap is. It's
Hmm.
floating around another whole number, 650. It's like it
Oh,
shows up on the chart that way. I didn't make it that way. It's just doing that on its own.
okay. That's a cool
Like
observation.
don't fight the fluff. Like just don't fight it. It's just if it is, just take it for what it is. Um
Okay. Period.
and so yeah, like no, and I realized that and the more if you choose to follow me more, we'll I'm not gonna do it for this call because Fibonacci we're not at an all-time high. Right
Mhm.
now we're not pushing up against it, but
But
I'll get
trust,
into
I'm gonna be
Fibonacci.
tapping in.
Yeah, no, definitely because Fibonacci levels are the next thing that you're gonna need to add to your trading strategy when price
I
is
have a
moving
friend
up
who
into the
mentions it a
abyss.
lot.
Yeah,
She's
you're
like,
gonna need it a
Fibonacci
lot.
trading. I'm
Fibonacci,
like,
Fibonacci
okay,
is
whatever that
because
means.
Fibonacci is you know how
I know what it
your
looks like.
artist,
The golden triangle, like I mean
correct, you know,
rectangle. But,
right, and you're artist. So like you know
yeah,
how symmetry works and like that. And so because that type of
right.
like the nautilus shell, right, the spiral, the perfect spirals that happen in the world, or perfect honeycomb at the bees, that all is Fibonacci. So it's like the universe on its own can design perfect sequences. And that and because it shows up everywhere in our universe, it shows up in the market too. Like it's a
Okay.
whole universal play. So it's like
Hey, and that's what made me want to get into this is because I am an astrologer.
in
What?
astrology, you can I am one of the few astrologer traders out. You have astrology traders out here.
You're an
Yes, girl.
astrology trader?
Yes, because the market aligns with the moon phases and all that shit too. All
How
this
am
is
I just now
connected.
finding this out about you?
This is what I love. This is why I love trading our season because I'm telling you, it's in alignment with all of our hocus pocus that we have been loving for years. The market aligns with all of it.
So you are in, oh my God, this is so exciting to me that you are an astrology trader because that's why I wanted to get into it because I was like, I've been studying astrology for 16 years and I got really, really good at like predicting for people, for businesses, electional astrology. Like I'm really good at it now. So I just wanted to start applying it to this.
You will. You'll start to feel. You'll start to feel it. You know how your intuition helps you
Hmm.
feel the. You'll start to feel it. You'll start to feel the retrogrades in the market.
Hmm.
You'll feel the full moons, the super moons of the market. You'll feel
Oh,
it
yeah.
all shows up in the market. That's why I don't watch the news. I tell people, be like,
Ooh.
"Oh well, Randy, are you watching the news? You don't follow the news. Follow the stars." I'm telling you because even the news is in alignment with the stars at the end of the day. These
Okay.
days, like I'm
Period. My mentor tells me the same thing, except not with stars. He's like, don't worry about the news. Like, look at your charts. He said, you
correct.
read the charts. I said,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, that's what you asked because it's all in alignment. It's like the
Mhm.
charts, the stars. That's all. The fact that even when I told you it's Japanese candlestick, that clicked for you immediately. You were like,
It
yes,
did.
that
I
makes
saw
sense.
that. Yeah, I was like, why are these all Japanese names for the patterns? I did
All
notice
of them.
that.
It's like
Huh.
the money is energy. Money
Okay.
is energy, and
Mhm.
once you
Sure.
understand that, and you understand that the world really moves off of energy, it's all just
Mhm.
energy movement. That's the markets. And so you actually got me excited. You may master this quicker than you think because of your experience in astrology.
I'm so excited. My mentor is definitely saying similar things. Although he's not an astrologer, he's said that he seems confident that I'm gonna be good at this as well. And I do too, but my thing is just being immersed in it more, um, which is new for me because like I said, I just started getting into this like a month ago. You and this other girl are my first two friends who are traders. So I'm
Okay.
trying to like immerse myself around it now. So it's becoming part of my life because I'm so new
Where
at
I
it.
breathe, eat, and sleep these charts because I can't put it down because of its connection to astrology. It makes it that to me, it made it that much. I don't know. I be geeking out. I geek out like way harder than a lot of people be geeking out, I think, on this
Oh my
thing.
gosh,
Because
please talk to me about this because you know the moon was in Virgo recently and that it crossed the south node. And you know the
Mhm,
south node has a draining effect. So
mhm.
I feel like that probably has something to do with this recent, what did you say it was like
Pull back.
chopping sideways,
Yep.
where it wasn't a whole lot of movement, not a lot of
Hmm.
gain. I feel like that might have something to do with it. You know, what
It
do you
does a
think?
lot of the resets of the because like um to me when I look at the market going sideways. I think that's the market taking its own breath, its own pause. Because you
Hmm.
like the retrogrades and like everything that happens in the stars forces us to take pauses and forces us to either
Hmm.
use energy or reserve energy, right? And the market does
Hmm.
the exact same thing every time. People like every time. And so the moon phase, not usually like your super moons, your full moons and your new moons can have a lot to do with the market too. You'll start to see things start to happen around that
Hmm.
time. Just find your whatever tickers you want to use. I find it more fluid with because I do trade forex, but I usually only trade USD JPY. Um,
Hmm.
I don't I pick you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot. Okay. I learned that
Hmm.
very quickly that I got overwhelmed when I was looking at all these damn currency pairs, like it was
Last
just too
year.
many to pick from. And at some point you just have to make a choice because all of them will work. You hear people saying like, oh, well, this one works best. Look, all of them work. It's a matter of you. Can you make it work for who you are and your unique personality?
Okay, I have a question for you. In
Mhm.
regards to like the pairs and stuff, do you use synastry with pairs? Because I want to see if I can do that.
No,
I
because I
want
don't
to
know what you mean by
experiment with
synastry
that.
anyway.
With the pairs? Okay. So you know how countries have their own zodiac signs because of when they're established,
Yes,
right?
because everybody counts the calendar differently. Yes, like I'm sitting over
Yeah.
here in Thailand and
Like
we're in year
America.
2543
Oh, no,
because they
no,
count the
not
years
like
differently.
that. No, no.
Okay, you're not talking
Like
about that.
no, no. So every country has an establishment date. Like basically it has a birthday. So it has a
Okay,
birth chart. Like
okay.
America is a Cancer because it was born on 4th of July. It has an
Oh, I know what you're
Aquarius
talking about
moon.
now. Yes, yes.
Yes. Have you ever tried using synastry between the countries'
I
birth
have
charts
not
to
for
with
the currency
pairs?
pair.
Because that's
Hmm.
something I want to try to do as I start to understand it more,
But
is
see,
using their
from
synastry. I don't know. I'm
that's kind of
experimenting.
hard. I feel like I don't know if that will. The only one that's triggering me that may not work is
Hmm.
because you have to use two countries because it's
Right.
always being paired against another country. And then
Right.
everything is always, all other currency pairs are always based upon what the US dollar is doing, the dollar index, DXY,
Hmm.
right? Because as the US
Right.
dollar either increases or decreases in value, it kind of sets the tone for all the other currency pairs.
Okay. So, okay.
There's a lot of
Thank you for
connections here. So like there's a lot
okay.
of connections. So I'm like,
It's okay.
we can play with it. I'm all for going
Yeah,
down
I
that
plan on
rabbit hole with you.
experimenting with it, you
Yeah.
know? Hell yeah. Okay, cool. Because I was just like, I don't know if anybody's doing this, but I just got the idea. I was like, you know what? I could probably use synastry to understand the relationship between the pairs because I know America's chart. I know what the fuck's going on with America. America's a Sagittarius rising, and we got Pluto in Aquarius, which is in America's third house, okay,
Okay.
of communication. So right now, America is communication. Everything it says is
Oh, that's why they
sending out.
tell so many lies because it's Pluto. Freaking liars.
And
As America just lies on everything. I'm just
America is the devil's advocate because we have Aquarius in the third house. You know what I'm saying? Aquarius is a very like genius way of communicating, but it can also be just like, diabolical in its genius way of especially because Pluto is in the third house now. So recently Pluto was in America's second house of income and stability and resources, which, and not just recently, this Pluto was in a Capricorn for the last 16 years. So the last 16 years, Pluto helped America get very, very wealthy, but at the same time, where we were not ethical, our wealth is being drained now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see. I feel that all day.
Okay.
No,
And
we can definitely
Aquarius
go
is
down.
about ethics. Me and you got to
Yes,
talk
because
about
I'm an Aquarius.
astrology.
Because
Like,
we're Aquarius. And then I also, have you because as we're going into astrology a little bit,
mhm,
taking note of the Western astrology, um,
mhm.
what do they call it? What's the term I'm looking for? I'm thinking of the other term.
The
They're
different types, like
the
sidereal.
different, yes, the sidereal one, which I did my chart based on the sidereal one, which I got a
Mm.
girl. When I look at that chart, I'm a Capricorn rising. So, and then if I
I'm a
go with
Capricorn rising in
and,
Western.
but in regular traditional Western, I'm an Aquarius rising,
Oh,
right?
that's cool. Nice.
In mine, the degrees now, my sun stays the same. It's both, it's still Libra, and my
Hmm.
Libra is still in the
Really?
same house and same under same sign of
What's your
Scorpio,
moon
right?
sign?
A moon is, well, it depends on which chart because that's what
Well, in
switches the
Western,
Aquarius. So
in passing it.
in the classic one, I am a moon Pisces,
Okay.
and
Pisces.
Aquarius rising, and a
Oh,
Libra sun.
that's awesome. So that means that your moon is in the second house. My moon's in the second house too.
It's on the
Um,
cusp, or it's actually, depending on how you look at it, it can be in the first
mhm.
house.
Oh, it could be in the first house, you're right, depending on what system you're using.
Hmm.
Randy, I am so excited that you're into astrology as much as I am. I'm just like, we need to reconnect, like, because I talk about astrology every fucking day. I'm always tracking
Every
the
day.
patterns. I'm like, I do readings for people. Like, I'm obsessed with this shit.
I do a tarot reading for myself every day to guide my day. I pull one. I
Yes,
don't
me
do
too.
full spreads because I think the
Hmm.
full spreads, like, like
Can be
three
a
card
lot.
spreads to 10 card spreads could be a lot. I don't think you should do
Can be a
those
lot.
as frequent. But as
Hmm.
daily guidance, I do a one tarot
One
card
pull.
pull, just like one card to
Me too.
just set my day, my tone, and then I journal it. I journal every day. I
Hmm.
journal a lot. Like I don't know, like I write a lot. Like I
Me
don't
too.
just personally journal, but I journal like in a trading journal, and then my trading like
Hmm.
newsletter that I write. And then I'm also finally starting to just really break weight on my, because then I put all of my journals together over the past couple years. I
Hmm.
probably have like three published books that are all over 300 pages. I
Wow.
write a lot. Like I just enjoy writing.
Hmm. I do
So
too. You know, damn, I'm like, this is just so cool that like I'm still like taking it in that I'm having this conversation with you because the last time we hung out, we didn't mention anything about
no, we
astrology like
didn't.
this. I was like, whole time you've been into this like
But I've
this
been in
this
the whole time. We just didn't bring
nigga,
it
why
up.
the fuck did we talk about this shit last time? I would have never let you go. Are you kidding me? We would have been talking all damn day.
Please.
I
I
love
know,
this
right?
shit so fucking much. Mm. Which makes sense because you know we are Aquarius North Node. I just got done writing about that on Threads, by the way,
Hmm.
about people who have Aquarius North Node and how Pluto is in Aquarius for the next 20 years, and that next
Hmm.
year the North Node is going to be in Aquarius. So we are going to be activated to be
Hmm.
visionaries and organizers to reform
If I
next
don't
20
already see that in myself, I feel like I've already been on that because you know how much
years.
pushback
Oh,
I
hell
got
yeah.
from like wanting to homeschool my daughter, from is trading really the right decision, to all those things. And I'm like, you can't trust the school system. Well, Randy, you sure? Look at the school system now. I told your ass. You didn't want to listen to me back 5 years ago, but I told you.
Thanks, Miss Pam.
And I'm like, look, you can't. These things are just they're changing. Like I could pick up on the
Hmm.
changes as I was going through them, and I'm like, and I can feel it. And it's like I have this like foresight premonition
Mhm.
side of me that I'm learning to tap into stronger, to get more of a
Yeah.
stronger feel with, because when I doubted it in the past, it always be like years later, it's like, see, I was right. And
Very
everybody around
Aquarius.
me is just doubting me. But I'm like, I know I ain't crazy. Like, I know I'm feeling this and seeing
Hmm.
this for a reason. I'm not just getting it arbitrarily.
Right.
um, so no, like it's in the, and that's why I don't give up trading, because it's very powerful. I think I can't go back to working a regular job the way I did, because I know
Hmm.
the potential with this. I know that all jobs at the end of the day still fall back in alignment with this, the market, all
True.
companies, everything, healthcare, everything. I was in healthcare. Healthcare's in the markets, in this financial market. So it all
Hmm.
falls back down to these principles. And I'm just come on, I can't remember. We know we're on YouTube Live. That's when they say authentic. But but yeah, so like
Very much.
No, but you're going
um
off topic.
yeah,
Yeah.
but this one is because I'm also getting myself back out there differently, because like I was introducing what with the traders that I had at the beginning. I was introducing us to this perspective of the astrology and stuff, but the
Mhm.
community I had wasn't as into it as I was, right? They were still
Mhm.
they were asking me for like, what their
Basic.
even natal birth chart looked like, right? Versus
Yeah, they
me,
weren't
I
ready
done
for
that.
that.
Yeah, like I'm way beyond that at this point. It's like,
Hmm.
no, I done done my whole family chart and everything. And I really
Yeah.
want to get more people to understand like there's a lot more synchronicity in these charts besides just the money and the, like, oh, just focus on the money in the news, the money in the news, and what it's bigger than that. And I've been reading more books. I got a lot of books from my late aunt, because we had an aunt that was in the stock market for a while, and she passed. And
Mm.
when she passed, I was the first one that's like, 'cause everybody else is kind of figuring out what to do with her stuff. I'm like, well, give me all her books, because I want to pick her brain. Because
You're so smart. You've always been
well,
very
I
smart.
eventually got my hands on all her books, and a
Hmm.
lot of books. She wasn't into astrology. Like, I wish I was able to ask her more questions, because if she
Hmm.
wasn't into astrology, she was on the cusp of it based on how she thought about money in the markets. Like she was in a
Hmm.
lot of books, and the books that I'm reading go into, like one book that I found very fascinating was called "Fooled by Randomness." Fooled by Random. The title alone was like, what? Fooled by Randomness.
Cool.
And it talks,
Huh.
yes,
Okay. I'm
and
gonna
it
write that
talks about
down.
how we have to make like the randomness is not 100% random,
Hmm.
right? And how you get fooled by it because you may think it's random and it's not. Um, and then reading in between the lines of the randomness. That's what all that book went into, right?
Hmm. It's
And
very
how we
Aquarius coded.
it's very deep, and
Right.
so
Mhm.
the markets are very very interesting, and they grow and they change over time. So any strategy that we speak of today will evolve itself within the next year or so. There's fundamentals that will never change, like fair value
Mhm.
gaps and like the candlesticks that will never really change, but how you view it, how you strategically move through it will evolve and change as you learn more
Okay.
about the market. And most traders who write, because I don't follow a lot of traders anymore because it confuses my own trading. But what I
Mhm.
do listen to is I listen to trader stories, right, and
Okay.
how they're progressing on their journey,
Trader
right. And
story.
yeah, like I listen to podcasts to hear another trader's story, from the people who've been in years beyond me.
Hmm.
And when they document their trades, they recognize that their strategy does change over the years. A lot of things that they did back in 1990 doesn't work for 2025
That
due
makes
to
sense.
different automations, due to different, the market structure has changed in itself.
Mm.
Like you used to go from these smaller, where price was trading more in a tighter range, and now price is doing these big runs. it has a larger range of trading now. And so they've had to adjust. And so I've been putting all those tips in my back pocket to keep myself in a mindset of like, I will forever be learning when it comes to trading. Um, and that's, I think, another reason why I like it is so much is because I never stop learning when it comes to this field versus other fields. I felt like I was being on my
Mm,
learning potential. Like when I was in healthcare, I was like, there's so much I could. If you're not like a doctor or a surgeon, I would say a surgeon more than anything. If you're not a surgeon, you're not always learning in healthcare. You can really get stopped at your potential. Surgery is the only thing that will kind of always change. You always get hit with a new predicament that you may have to work through that
hmm
pushes you to learn. It's probably why I hung out with a lot of surgeons as I kept in my healthcare career. But I love to learn. So,
hmm
you know, this is my little segue side piece as we wrap it up because I'm gonna kind of close it from here. And we can do it because I'm gonna do more of these calls on YouTube, and we can also talk one on one more. Cece, if you're
hmm
going to invest the time into it and really study this, and we can
Yes,
have offline talks to where we can get deeper. We can chart the charts out down to the 15 minute because I don't go down to the 15 minute on public calls. I just don't because it's a lot more to assess. And
understandable.
it's a lot more to assess. And that's to me, I keep for my most invested traders, right? Because I want to speak strategy. I want to speak to like what are we getting into to actually make money. I ain't got time to waste. When I'm coming down to the 15 minute, I'm ready to like press the buttons to trade live with my real money and things like that when I'm coming down to these smaller time frame analysis.
Okay.
You haven't taken any, have you been practicing any trading?
I haven't done any paper trading. I'm so new in my journey where I'm really just like learning keywords and strategy names.
Okay.
So building my foundation still. No actual paper trading yet.
Okay. And that's
Mm.
fine because you've only been like a month or two. I would
Yeah.
recommend you take a paper trade sooner than later. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I'll talk to my mentor about it. We're gonna meet this week.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
And I
Mom,
just
did you have a question?
subscribe. Mhm.
My
I don't
mom
have a
put her hand
question. I don't have a question. I want to say something if this is to the end, but I'll wait to the very end.
up. Okay, mom. Then we'll give it another 5 minutes. Go ahead,
Okay.
Cecil, or you got to add something else? Cecil, were you about to say something about your mentor?
Uh, what was I gonna say? Well, I'm gonna meet with them this week, so I'm gonna talk to them about like me starting a paper trade because I just really don't want to do this without guidance because I don't think I'm gonna understand what I'm doing.
Um,
Mm.
that's more than one way to look at it. I mean,
Yeah,
I pushed the button without guidance, because you learn through your mistakes
that's
as
true.
well.
I guess it's just paper trading. It's right. I be
Thank
thinking
you.
that
That's
there's
just
gonna be
paper
risk.
trading. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I can
Okay.
understand when it comes to your first live trade if you want either me or him next to you for that. But for paper trading, you can learn a lot by just pushing the button and making mistakes. Because the first thing you're gonna
Okay.
learn by paper trading is the
hmm
actual broker that you're using back and forth, right? Because I have, especially where you're at the very beginning, you know how many times I've accidentally clicked a call when I need to do a put or a put when I need to do a call or the wrong line because these things are really small and you're trying to
hmm
look at everything on the chart and then option chain. And you said Forex. So are you going, which broker are you using? You thinking about
I'm
using?
using, well, my mentor told me to use Thinkorswim, and
Yay.
he's actually teaching me all of this, like, sounds like all the stuff that you trade, because he doesn't just do Forex, he trades everything.
Mhm.
So he's gonna treat
Most
me
people
like
who are
all that
really
stuff.
into it, I
hmm
believe the most serious traders do cross asset classes. And it's
hmm
because when one asset class is doing bad, another one's doing well. That's the thing. It's
Yeah,
diversifying your portfolio. So
that's what
like,
he
yeah, that's it just makes sense to me. Like
for like
why just
hedging
focus on
purposes.
hmm?
He said he does it also for like hedging.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because you're diversifying your portfolio. You want to keep um there's a lot of different strategies you could do, and we can get into more strategies. Right now, you're at the beginning, just candlesticks, and that's what I keep this call for, candlesticks and basics, because it's YouTube Live.
Okay.
And then you take a course, take my course is pretty affordable,
Okay.
or private one-on-ones to get into the nitty-gritty of the specific strategies you can use
Hmm.
to do it. I think that, Forex is a great start, but if you're nerding out about it, which you already are, you're
Yeah.
gonna want to trade something else.
Yeah.
It's gonna pull you in to
Hmm.
trade something else. And the next thing I would just recommend from whichever Forex tickers you use is going to be the S&P 500, just because it's reliable.
Okay.
It's reliable. You're trading the whole thing. The whole S&P isn't just going to fall out versus, like, how maybe you heard through the grapevine when GameStop was doing that crazy, all the get crazy GameStop shenanigans. And that's
Hmm.
because of let's see, let's screen on.
Girl, I was in the Reddit thread as it was happening.
That junk was crazy. I was not trading that. I was not trading that. You couldn't get me to trade that.
I wasn't
For
trading it. I was just
nothing.
watching it so I could understand it.
So, like,
Like,
when we look at the chart, look at, like, from the weekly chart. You see, this is GameStop. I don't trade shit that looks sideways like this. This is
mm,
not reliable stock. This is not progression. This is GameStop could potentially go out of business forever with the sandbox and crypto real estate and all of that stuff. We may not even see another GameStop. So some stores,
mm,
you know, will fall off eventually.
mm,
We've seen that over time. Not all companies last 20, 30, 40 plus decades, right? So
mm.
I don't, and that's why I like the S&P 500, because you see, this is the weekly view of GameStop, but then this
Yes,
is the weekly view of the S&P 500, which is a lot more
mm,
healthier. Like, it's always picking a
mm,
direction. Yeah, like,
mm.
so
See,
this
see.
is this is why a lot of people like the S&P 500. It's constant, it's reliable. Whether it's going up or down, you don't have to worry about it doing crazy, like, busts, like, or bankruptcy. You ain't got to worry about none of that with the S&P. And you don't have to worry
Mm,
about that with
okay.
cryptocurrency. I mean, that could forex exchange pairs either. That's another reason why people like it, because it's reliable.
Mm,
And crypto is now more reliable. So go in. The only asset class I have not studied yet is bonds. That's my last one. Does the guy do bonds too?
Asset classes. That's what they're called.
Asset classes, yes. So forex is one asset class. Stocks and options is
Mhm.
another asset class.
Okay.
Cryptocurrency, and then you have bonds. Bonds is the only asset class I haven't started trading.
Okay.
But I heard bonds can be just as fun. There's a few specific bonds traders I've run across. Um,
Is that like trading gold and oil and stuff like that?
you can, yes, yes. If if you can kind of trade everything in different formats, like I said before. So,
Okay.
but yes, energy trading, all that, but you can trade energy with stocks too. You don't have to be
Energy.
bonds. Yeah, my aunt was an energy trader,
That's
because
cool.
that's another thing that's not really going to go away.
Hmm. Okay. I'm learning a lot.
She wrote she actually wrote her own. She wrote and published books on energy trading. Like, she was big on energy trading. She did derivatives. She was a quants trader.
Is this
People
the
who
aunt that lived in Miami that we visited?
Yes, that's her actually. She died
Oh,
2 years ago. Yeah, a
oh
year.
gosh. I was like, wait a minute, why does it sound familiar? Also, I'm sorry about her passing. I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay, but yes, that's her.
Yeah.
Yes, her,
Oh,
her,
okay.
her.
That
She
makes
said
sense.
her.
That makes sense now. It's starting to click. I'm like, the what? Okay, I remember that experience. That lady knew what she talking about.
She does. She did. She really
Nice.
did.
Very nice.
So, if anything, I'm like pushing on her legacy, because I'm the one in the family that was just most like her. And
Mhm.
but she knew a lot of stuff. And energy trading is another specific group of
Asset
trading that you
class.
could do. Well, yeah, or well, not like yes, but in a way, energy is its own like
All his own market
animal because
pattern.
yeah, because it's
Okay.
energy and
Sounds interesting, I'm not gonna lie.
energy gets really political.
I imagine with Pluto being in Aquarius, that's going to be very relevant because of nuclear energy being considered for like AI.
You have energy companies or like general like she held a bunch of shares in GE. Hence why this
Mhm.
is GE's chart. Why
Oh,
not?
write that down for freaking GE.
She was
Uh,
holding just like she was holding like over thousands of shares of GE just cause.
wow.
And
Nvidia.
she knew it would just keep growing, which it has been
Yeah, it's
since.
not about to go out of business. And with everybody being so attached to their devices, it's only
Mhm.
going to get, I would imagine that it's going to trend upwards.
You see, it has been past few
Okay, I
years just
put
up.
that on my list of assets that I need to pay attention to.
So here's my
General
watch
Electric.
list quickly just to show you.
Okay.
Over here to the side, these are my main stocks and indices because I really trade heavy the S&P 500, a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of Dow futures, Nasdaq to keep an understanding of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And another watch list. Actually, this is my I have two trading view accounts, so this is my more focused account. I have to go to my other one. I have a list of tickers. Um, they're more tech stocks that I picked up from other traders over the years. You would just have to keep doing your research, keep following, and figure out just what you like along the journey.
Okay. That's the
USD,
homework.
JPY, my forex, but these are my key stuff. Like keep an eye on like gold and silver and oil for understanding market trends. Not that I'm always trading it. I am looking more at gold because my family were trying to figure out how to own like solid gold pieces, right?
Oh, okay.
Um, and then S&P, Apple is usually another one I hold here. I clean everything I think I did. Apple's one that I hold on because it kind of shows where the tech market is going.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bitcoin and Ethereum. I
Mm-hmm.
don't trade many of the other coins, crypto coins out there because it's a lot. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of everything. There's just a
Yeah.
lot of everything. So
I
you just
mostly
have to
have
pick.
Ethereum too,
Okay.
and a little bit of Bitcoin, very small amount.
And what I would do is I would just pick me. I prioritize like two to three in each asset class. So like for stocks,
Mhm.
it's like S&P 500, Apple, and then I think I do tend to go in and out of like either Disney or XOXL. Those are like the stock trades that I find easy to trade for me that I like. So I have like um, three main tickers there, and then in Forex, it's really USD, JPY, and then like Euro, US dollar. I don't, it, you know, they're side hustles for me. That's enough. And then for crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum, I don't need anything else. That's enough. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, and then just kind of go from there, and I'll figure out where I want my bonds. But I just pick no more than like two to three that you like, and then just shuffle those for the rest
Just
of your life.
okay. So I'll focus on um 2 to 3 per asset class.
Yeah,
Yes.
two to three per asset class. That's all you need. And your venture should be advising something similar.
Okay.
I
Um,
can't see him trading like 20, 30 different things at one time, unless he's a hedge fund manager and he's managing other people's accounts.
I don't think so.
Okay. Because my
Yeah.
goal is hedge fund manager. So I'm
Mm,
growing this to become a hedge fund manager. Um,
okay. Hedge
yeah, I
fund
want to
man.
do this for life. Yeah, girl. Like I want to just I be going into gamer girl mode on this thing. Like
Uh-huh.
gamer girl activated. Like it was really fun for
Yeah,
me.
your Scorpio is locking in. Yes, it
It's
is.
fun. Alrighty. Any other questions for this call? You've been on here for a while. What you got? Let me see if this became your personal trading call, which I love. I'm so glad you joined today.
I have
Thank
two
you. I'm
things.
so glad I joined too. I was nervous because I was looking at like, the preparation. I was just like, wow, I'm such a newbie. There's probably gonna be people in here who have like all their like tickers, and I'm like, I don't even
Mm-mm.
know any of which ones like I'm looking at because I'm not looking at anything yet. I'm still learning what a ticker means.
No, but that's perfect because that's why I set up the call this way for people who
Okay,
really want to ask questions, and
perfect.
for those who really just want to watch, just watch and be. I heard you, mom. I'll bring you in a second. Because I had it set up differently before, and I think it was intimidating for people to even want to ask questions. And so,
Mhm,
I'm like, if you're willing to speak, come on here as a participant and put yourself out there because you don't know what other people know. Trading is very much a solo journey and it's a mindset journey more than anything else. Everything I'm teaching you about the candlesticks, you're gonna have the candlesticks master in another 2 3 months because it's not hard to see pictures. Especially for you, you're an artist. Your mind thinks in pictures. Like you see
yeah.
the you know what I'm saying? And that a
Yeah.
lot of people get real technical with the candlesticks. And me personally, I'm an artsy girl as well.
Mm,
So it's like I look at the picture. I like to see the smaller images in the bigger image. And
mm,
that's what I basically sell as my strategy and my approach. Um,
mm,
and that's the easy part. It's the psychological part when you're ready to push the button and ready to push the button to enter the trade, hold the trade, not exit the trade prematurely. That's where the real work comes in. And that takes years of work because you're going to be faced with your inner demons. You've probably already done a lot of shadow and self work because you're an astrology nerd. So I'm
yes.
confident with you there. But
Yeah.
anything that you haven't touched on, it will be
Mhm.
revealed through trading.
I have
Anything you
seen people
haven't
say
touched.
that.
Yeah, no,
I have seen
it
people
it
say
it
that.
reveals the hidden corners,
Like all your
them hidden
insecurities.
all that, all them hidden
Mhm.
corners. For me, it exposed what it did for me up front. It exposed all my toxic masculine energy side of me that needed to be worked on.
Oh
Revealed
wow.
that quickly, and I was like, okay, I prioritize that. And so now, um, I don't know what's new it's going to reveal for me. I feel like I'm always learning, but I've
Hmm.
gotten to a place where I've cleaned up a lot of toxic behaviors and a lot of toxic mindsets, just with trading alone. And I think that's why I chose to pursue it because I ran across a person before I started taking on full time. I ran across a person that shared their story of trading became basically the foundational line was trading made them a better person. And I was like, how
Mm.
the hell they do that? I was like, what
I can
job
see
makes you a
that.
better person? Because most jobs made me the basic jobs out and felt like I was becoming a terrible person.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're not in charge.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
So I was
I
like,
can definitely see that.
something that can make me a better person, I'm all for that.
Hmm.
And so
I
that's why I'm here.
can see that, especially in like my mentor and like the stories that he tells me about like what he learned. Um, I Miss Pam, I see you have your hand up. I'm just gonna like keep this story short, but that my mentor shared with me. Um, so he told me about when he first got into trading and how he was at a like seminar for trading and how he didn't have a lot of money at this time and the seminar I guess was like multiple days and he ended up meeting another student there that was there for the seminar and they both didn't have enough money to stay another night but they decided to just like split it halfway and stay another day and just like the sheer coincidence of someone being able to be in a position to split it so they could both benefit from it. I was like, wow, there's something very spiritual about trading because it really like that just aligned
Yes.
in favor, and they were both
Yes.
able to stay longer so that they could benefit and gain more information. Years later, now he's in a position where he can teach me, without needing anything from me because he's so stable in his faith because of this.
Yes.
And I was
Yes.
just like, wow, that was really cool to hear his experience about that. It's actually very spiritual.
That is the biggest reason why I have not quit yet. Because it's like, well, if I quit trading, then I quit being spiritual.
Yes,
Like
it
the
was a lot of
two are
faith.
so aligned. The man, I'm so glad he told you that up front because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people get into the trading space not understanding just how spiritual it actually is. And they're thinking,
Mm,
oh, the profit and the money and like a potential get rich quick scheme. It's not. If you are not in one with whoever you call your higher power, right? I don't care who you call it. If you're gonna call God, Buddha, whoever, it doesn't matter. The universe, spirit, it doesn't matter. You have to
mhm.
acknowledge that it is in alignment with spirit. And as soon as you do that, then that's when you become your most successful. That's when when you really think about it, that's when anybody becomes most successful, no matter what
Yeah,
industry you're in, is when you become locked down spiritually.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
So yeah,
Yes, it's definitely a
you're
journey.
starting with the right mindset and the right mentors in mind because there's a lot of people who start. I started on my own, but a
Mm,
lot of people who start like following somebody because it makes it look like their lifestyle is what they like are following, right? Oh, this person,
mhm,
they look rich, I can do it, they can do it, I can do it, so I follow them. They want to
mhm,
follow them, and it's like, but they don't recognize what that person actually had to endure or go through spiritually to get their success. And
mhm,
and they just become a bunch of groupies. And it's just like, this is why I don't follow a lot of people. I don't
mhm,
like, I'm not on YouTube following a bunch of traders and stuff like
mhm.
that. I have a few people who were following me, and then I come to realize they still following five other people. They're on my webinar call and on five other people webinar call. How you gonna
Mm,
ever get consistent if you on everybody's webinar?
mm. That makes sense. You got to lock in on your strategy. And I just want to share one more thing that he told me that I thought was interesting, and I want to hear what you say, what you think about it. But
Okay.
he told me that in his experience, he found that women tend to make better traders because women and men they're motivated by different things in their trades. He said that oftentimes he noticed that women were motivated by freedom and comfort, and men were motivated by material gain and to like show status. What do you
I
think
agree.
about that?
I agree. I have found that
Yeah.
most of the people you hear that blow their account are men, not women. Women won't blow their
Mm,
account as fast as men would. We have just
okay.
more control. Like we can be more afraid to take the trade, but we won't be as super as risky to blow the account,
Mm,
right? Um, and I agree that the reason why there's not more female traders is the fear of risk, that women
yeah.
are just more afraid
Right.
to take risks. And if we
Yeah.
can get past that, which is why I'm focusing on the trader spirit to be for women, the tutor and mentor women. I don't care about men. There's enough resource out there for men to learn this trade.
I
There
know,
just
right?
is.
I feel about being a kawaii tattoo artist. I'm like, there's enough men in this field. I don't need to cater to men.
I
Like, there's
don't need
plenty of
negative
people.
men. Yeah, I agree. And I took that when we met up in Jacksonville that time. At the time,
Uh-huh.
I was still like open to having some men, but you actually helped me define it for women because I was like, Cecil doesn't do any men. Cecil doesn't tattoo men. And then when you
No.
told me like, you don't do it also because of safety reasons, I was like, that makes sense
Mhm.
because like tattoos are really personal and you up in
Mhm.
personal people's spaces. And
Yeah.
men are pervy, especially just men just naturally are just pervy. And
Yeah.
like
Especially
I
in the
don't blame
intimate
you for
space,
that.
for
I
real.
don't blame you for that. And
That's
that
cool
helped
that I was
me
part of this.
understand the same thing when it came to trading. It clicked for me um last year, like let me just stick with women because men have enough resources for them to succeed. Women don't. And
I agree.
or enough places for them to feel safe, like getting tattooed, because
Mhm.
that's everything. So I think this push for like
Oh,
women to get the women back in balance is necessary. Um,
I'm here
and
for it.
once women get out of their comfort zone, I can't wait to have like an army of female traders. That's my goal. And my hedge fund will be all female staff. Like if you get good enough in your trading, and I got my hedge fund started, and you can work for
Hmm.
me at the hedge fund, and we can just continue to make money. Because as a hedge fund worker, it's not like you're, it's not like your hours are demanding. You're trading. Think about it, like,
Yeah.
and you're managing other people's money.
Oh.
So we all just make. I'm telling you, I'm trying to build an army of female traders, and then have a intimate group that I can start as my hedge fund staff to just lead a women of I just see this like triumph, because like you said, the freedom, the financial freedom, women
Mhm.
don't earn as much money as men. So what, like, why not be this force to be reckoned with in the financial markets?
You know, um, I told you I have one other friend who is a trader. Interestingly, she is also a Libra, and she also teaches women for the same reasons as you, because she has been in situations with men that have put her in positions where she has been had to be at the mercy of them. And when she
Mm-hmm.
got into trading, she was able to liberate herself, and she has children too.
Yeah, that's the
And
biggest thing.
she has children too, so now she only teaches women. So that right there, maybe that right there too is also part of like what is pulling me towards this, because I'm noticing that I'm meeting mostly women traders.
Mm-hmm.
Except aside from my mentor. My mentor is not a woman, but his mentor was.
Interesting.
Hmm. His mentor was is a woman, and she is a multi-millionaire.
Yep, I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
And
I love it.
he's a millionaire too. I don't know if he's a multi-millionaire, but yeah, a woman taught him.
No,
Thought
this
that
is
was
great.
awesome.
I would love to meet that Libra you're speaking of. That's a mom who's doing the same thing, because
Yes.
that's a part of it too. Like,
Mhm.
my goal is also the mom. Like,
Mhm.
because you can't rely on that man most of the time.
My
So
mentor tells me, he says, a man is not a plan. He tells me that all the time. A man is not a plan. You need to get your
and that
own.
that and the fact that that's coming from a man, that
I
speaks
know,
volumes.
right? Bro, he's my dad's friend, okay? I'm very fortunate. He's a safe connection.
Yes, that is very fortunate. Shout out to Dad for that one. But yeah,
Okay.
man, look, that speaks volumes. That speaks so much.
It does. I'm very fortunate. Honestly, Randy, I feel like trading came to me in a very divine way, because I was just like, I just moved back to my mom and dad's house 2 months ago. I closed my business earlier this year, and I was just getting so burnt
What?
out, man. I did. I closed my business earlier, my physical business. I still have my LLC, but I closed my physical business because I moved to Texas for a man. Because I wanted to get out of Florida. I
Okay,
wanted a new
okay. So
start.
I'm gonna interrupt because
Yeah,
I
Oh,
need
we're
to
gonna
say
finish this
something,
okay.
conversation
and y'all gonna
offline.
take that offline, okay?
Yeah, because for what I didn't
Yes,
go
but
ahead,
it's honest
All right,
though. I'm
so
pivoting.
hi, Asisa. Sorry, let me interrupt.
Oh,
So,
okay,
Randy, I
okay.
want you to look at two tickers. This is about
okay,
Okay.
the humanoid global holdings.
okay,
The tickers are R is in Romeo, B is in Bravo, O is in Oscar, H is in Hotel, F is in Foxtrot. Now the other one is an ETF, and that's Robo. Okay.
okay.
Just put it on the side for now because I know we've been on this conversation a long
Oh,
time, and
well, I know.
I need
You
to do
want
some
to
other stuff
go to
as
bed.
well. But Arcisa, before the other
Yes,
thing that I
ma'am.
really wanted to give a shout out to Randy since we are on the phone talking with her, and it's
Hmm.
not tomorrow, but it's the next day. Give her a shout out for her upcoming happy birthday. That's it.
You're right.
Wow,
Oh
you're
my
right.
God.
Oh my God, y'all hilarious.
It's Libra
Uh,
season.
it is we receiving.
Your birthday's tomorrow?
No, the
Uh, the
21st.
21st, but close
Oh,
enough.
you on the cusp. Oh my freaking gosh. Absolutely. I will absolutely give you a shout out, and I'll
Yeah,
put you on my story. Heck
um,
yeah.
because
So with
your
that,
participant in the
I,
chat,
huh?
um, I'll put my phone up because this is just us three on this Zoom call. So I'm on YouTube live, so nobody else will get what's going on. See, so I'll give you my phone number. So we
Okay.
can pick up offline. And yeah, you can tell me about all of that. I was not expecting that. I was actually really happy because I'm like, she's about to come on here as my business person and be and tell people how she's trading and investing, and then you had the audacity to say you closed it.
Well, but this is reality though. I'm pivoting. I think people should see like this is a
No,
real
it's
person
true.
who is changing and pivoting. I don't think it's fair to not be authentic.
I agree. So quickly
Yes.
to wrap it up, how are you
Hmm.
pivoting to move to grow? Because a lot of people can't even keep a business for 8 years. The fact that you were able to keep a business open for 8 years speaks
Yeah,
volume in
8 years.
itself.
Yeah.
Most people businesses close within 2 or 3. So
Yeah.
no, this
There's a
is a really good
lot.
example of pivoting, of being like, okay, I closed, I had to reset because I'm here resetting in Thailand, and I put that
Hmm.
notification out to the world too. So we'll end it on positive resets.
Yes.
Go
I think
ahead.
it's positive for sure. I have
It
more
is
time to
positive.
learn new skills. You
Hmm.
know, I didn't have that when I was running my shop full time. I would have never gotten to this if I stayed with it. So I think it was a good thing, actually.
Okay, so go ahead. What happened?
Awesome.
Okay,
Why did I close it?
close it. Yeah, I want to know
Uh,
why.
okay. Well, honestly, I closed it because I was burnt out. I was. I was
Yep.
burnt out. And even though I had I had a team, you know, I had people who were helping me. I had just spent so, you know, how you were saying it's impressive that I was even able to do it for as long. Most people close around like 2 years. I really had just been powering through it for so long. And like during the pandemic, it was just a lot, you know, having to like navigate new strategies and the way that things were going. And then my team, it was just like so many chaotic elements going on at the same time. And I was doing everything. I was learning
Mhm.
how to automate things. I'm learning accounting. I'm learning tattooing. There's all these new competition. Like the market was getting flooded, okay, with
Wow.
new tattoo shops opening up here and there, more artists. Now the tattoo industry isn't doing so hot. So I kind of had to pivot, honestly. I had to. Now, why I closed it, I moved to Texas. Really, I just wanted to reset. I just wanted a new beginning. I got in a relationship and I was like, let's move to Texas and we're gonna start a business together, but things didn't quite work out. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I wanted to get out of Florida so fucking bad that I was willing to take that risk, even though I knew that leaving during Mars retrograde meant that it wasn't going to quite work out. But I really wanted to leave Florida and move because I had been in Florida, like honestly, with my tattoo business, even though it was going I had received so much recognition because of how much effort I put into community building and learning how to like build community in real life and online. Um, I had become very obsessed with it to the point where it was becoming very unhealthy. I'm gonna be real with you. A few of my relationships had fell apart because of how obsessed I am with my business, which is crazy that, you know, that they fell apart. It says a lot about the people I was choosing, you know what I'm saying? They should have been here
Mhm.
for me because your girl is a freaking entrepreneur. But, you know, picking the wrong partner.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be real with you. Picking the wrong fucking partner had a lot to do with why I closed my business.
Mhm.
And not branching out. Not
For
branching
help.
out.
Got it.
Yeah, yep, yep. So I feel like this is a good thing because now that I don't have my business, I'm able to branch out. I'm able to try new things, and I have all these skills that I gained from it.
Mhm.
And I just have a really strong feeling that I'm going to be good at this because of like 16 years of pattern recognition on top of learning social media strategy, internet marketing, community
Mhm.
building,
Mhm.
and on top of that, you know, I'm a military brat. I'm international. I'm already looking at like world news. I just feel like I think all these things are building up for me to be in this position because I've built a community of so many people who I want to invest in.
So you're not tattooing at all anymore? Is that the
Oh no, I
decision?
still tattoo. I do. I
Okay.
just don't have my own shop. I actually tattoo at my friend's shop who
Okay.
interestingly, she was one of the people who looked up to me and became a tattoo artist because of me.
Okay. Well, because you
So very
don't have to
interesting.
own your own shop to still tattoo. You can literally put the booth in somebody else's while
Oh yeah.
you so you can expand like so that's the mindset now. You're still tattooing, but you
I still
gave
tattoo.
up your physical shop so you can
Yes.
expand more. That makes sense.
Yes.
Got
Yes. I
it.
have more freedom. I can make money anywhere. I can tattoo anywhere. I have friends with
You know,
shops
you
all
can
over the
literally
world.
pop into shops and tattoo. I've seen people do that. That's like a culture between. I don't know
Mhm.
what that. I don't know if there's a name for that. What y'all call that? But
It's
it
called
is
guest
like
spotting.
okay, there you go.
Yeah, guest spotting. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm guest spotting.
Got it. Yeah, no, I've seen
Mhm.
that a lot. So that's wonderful, wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful, good news.
Yes,
And I'm
thank you.
glad that you're investing. I think everybody needs to have like a toe into the stock market and or the
I agree.
market, the financial markets in some way.
That's what my mentor
Because
said too. Hey.
all the rich people at the end of the world are invested in the financial markets in some way. Yeah, like I
Hmm.
wouldn't put it past, Oprah Winfrey. She don't talk about it, but there's a reason why
Right.
she got schools in Africa and all this other place. Like, let's open up that portfolio. What like
Okay.
what
And
else is
she's
in
an
there?
Aquarius. So you already know.
So we know. So thank you so
Hmm.
much for being here with me on this
Absolutely.
call. This made it
No,
definitely
thank you.
a very in-depth call because I was able to bring up some basics that I haven't spoken about in a while. So I've been all about just doing the top-down analysis and getting off the call. So this was actually great because we did a bit of a top-down analysis, but we got
Mhm.
into some options as well. So hopefully this starts to help people get off on the right foot with their
Hey.
trading and know that there are a bunch of women out here wanting to do this thing. We're out here, so find us. We are out here for real.
Hmm.
Um,
It's time
so
for the wealth transfer.
it is. It is. It is. It really is. Or just a better distribution of it. Because I'm not going to say that men have a role, but I just think the playing field has been unequal for too many years, only like a couple centuries now. It's just a little too
Yeah,
long. That
way too long.
so I just want to bring us back to a nice homeostasis, equal playing field type of
Hmm.
vibe and we can all grow a bit better from that. There's some
I'm
more
so
female
Aquarius.
world leaders in here, and I think we'll get a lot less homeless people because everything will just be distributed more evenly with women in charge.
I agree. Women are much more compassionate, much more willing to donate. I
Mm-hmm.
think that just women having more wealth would even the playing field 100%. And that's why I was saying one of the reasons why I want to get into this, since I built a community as well, just the people who supported my business, they're so creative. And a lot of them, they don't have financial literacy, they don't have
Mm-hmm.
access to that stuff. And just living it as an example and being someone of influence and them seeing me do this is going to show them that they can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep,
they just got to see someone like them doing it. That's all.
that's it. So we're here
Hmm.
for it. So
Yeah.
follow CISA, Star CISA.
Hey,
CISA.
I'm
What is
Star
your page? Put
Seaside.
out your pages. Who
Star Seaside. How do I put that
Star
out?
Star Seesaw on Instagram and things like that. The Trader's Crib, of course, if you're already here, you know where to find
Yes,
me.
subscribe.
Subscribe and follow us for sure. And we'll see you all like next month. I'll do another She Trades webinar to invite you all in. Other than that, you can what am I trying to say, Lori?
Oh.
Go to our website. I have lots of different resources. I have a course, which is a concise course. I intentionally want to save people time. I do think there's a lot to learn in trading, but I do think that some things are not as influential to your trading strategy as others. So it's a concise course to really get you the meat and potatoes of what you really need to get started so you can take your first paper or live trade, but really live trade because live trading is the only thing that's going to get you into the right mindset. Have a digital
Mhm.
flashcard deck to help you understand and memorize the basics of the candlestick patterns and everything that we reviewed today over this call is in the course and in the candlesticks. You can also participate on our next live webinar. Just subscribe to the Traders Crib newsletter to be on our email list. You get all updates. We have a free newsletter that you can just get insights. I go into the candlestick even on those free newsletters. So you can just get started understanding how to read a naked chart. We are naked chart traders here in the Trader Fair. We do not use all of these fancy indicators. They're a waste of time. It's just a waste of time. All right. Um, we're naked chart traders. So if you want more information about that, please visit the website and check us out and see all the beautiful resources we have to offer you on your trading journey. Ready? Until next time, you all take care. Have a safe week. Because I'm excited for this trading week. I think we're actually finally going to move somewhere. So be prepared.
Hey,
And I'll see you all next time. Have a good
all
one.
right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Randy.
you,
Oh.
Randy. Good to
Yes.
see you, Cisa.
Nice to see you too, Miss Pam. Happy early birthday.
I know.
Yay. Turn
Thank
up.
you, guys.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Bye bye.
And have a good one.